The more I began to study about orphans' lives and to see the connection, especially with James 1:27, where James tells us that pure and undefiled religion is caring for widows and orphans in their distress. And when we look at their distress, we find that poverty is part of their distress. Trafficking is part of their distress. Living in orphanages is part of their distress. The foster care system itself is part of their distress. These are the things that affect the lives of orphans, and these are the issues that we as a church really have not done well in responding to. After Beth and I got married, I was working in the ministry, and God had blessed us with 2 kids by birth, Heather and Jared, and we were just living the American dream.
For me, my American dream is to fulfill the calling that God has placed for us. After a few years of praying, I realized that God was leading me toward adopting a special needs child, and specifically a deaf child who might not otherwise find a family.
I was very fearful thinking about adopting a child because of the unknowns involved. But I could see that this was truly something that God had put on Beth's heart. This was something that was a part of who she was. And as her husband, I couldn't just let that go by anymore. And I felt like at that point that God had brought us to a point where I had to reach out and be proactive and get some answers. Thinking about that parable, the Good Samaritan, the thing that became a reality for me was after I talked to this adoption agency, they sent me an email and it had a picture of James in it. And seeing James, it was as if he was the one who was left on the side of the road. And so I realized at that point that this was my son who was on the side of the road, and I couldn't just pass by anymore.
I don't think any parent should ever have to make the choice to give up their child because of poverty. But there are a lot of children who are placed in orphanages, and because of poverty, a lot of children won't make it out of orphanages.
I hope that churches will use this book as a guide for their justice ministries or their orphan ministries, to use it as a roadmap to help them plan out what that ministry will look like and how they will deal with these complex issues. I wanted to write to take the complex issues and put them in ways that are simple to understand and simple to get involved, that we can make a difference, whether it's something very small that an individual could do or something large that a church could take on and really make a difference in an orphan's life.